This is Heather, and I'd like to start with a disclaimer explaining my voice. I've had the flu all week, so I can't get above much of a whisper. I apologize for that. But this is the LGBTQ plus writing workshop for LGBTQ plus youth. And what is this workshop? This workshop is intended for LGBTQ plus youth between the ages of 12 and 17 years old. It's open to anyone who wants to come and create connections or just enjoys writing. This includes allies of this community as well. The workshop will consist of writing prompts that encourage the participant to adopt the foundations of acceptance and commitment therapy, also known as ACT. The founding principles of ACT include accepting thoughts as they come. It's very relevant to mindfulness and embracing your current emotional feelings and not rejecting them. And the focus on emphasizing understanding your true values and incorporating activities that align with those true values. And acceptance and commitment therapy has been effective in addressing mental disorders such as depression, anxiety, and physical ailments such as diabetes, chronic pain, and coping with cancer. Now, there's a clear need for this population. According to the Santa Rosa Kaiser Services, a survey of 2022 reported that there is a disproportionate number of gay, lesbian, and bisexual individuals who are reporting suicide ideation compared to their straight or unlabeled individuals. There's a 46% of the surveyed population who identify as gay, lesbian, or bisexual that seriously considered suicide in the past year. And the study was conducted between 2017 and 2019. Evidence suggests that providing leisurely activities that promote positive participation in the community can alleviate these disorders. And although there are important resources for this population already, such as emergency services, counseling services, there is not a consistent activity that focuses on enjoyment of participation and introduces people to mental health services. So it's something consistent that people can turn to every month and have fun, but still get those services to improve their overall mental health. Now, the goals of this workshop are to have the population or the participants feel closer to the people in their community and provide a secondary family to alleviate feelings of loneliness within the LGBTQ plus community, because this is a vulnerable population. They are vulnerable to marginalization. So this workshop will act as a second home for them. Each session will have a segment that provides information on the benefits of professional counseling, instructions on how to find the right counselor for you, and writing prompts that are directly linked to feelings on seeing a counselor. So participants should gradually increase over time the number of participants, as well as increased advertisements for this workshop, like word of mouth and a bigger social media presence. So the workshop will be conducted on the same day of each month and at the same time. So it's consistent and people can expect it at the same time every month. The sessions will be an hour long and have a basic structure. In the beginning, we'll include an icebreaker, group activity, 2 separate writing prompts, and then an opportunity to share those writing prompts. And then a physical resource paper handed out that demonstrates and shows counseling services in the area, especially people who specialize in LGBTQ plus youth. And then the last section of the writing workshop will be an open discussion with specific prompts, or possibly times we can hear from guests that may want to come to the writing workshop. And the location of these meetings will ideally be different every time, but it'll always be a location that is significant within the community, like a local business, a local park, something similar to that. There's some of my slides. The click is, there's a delay on the click or something. So who's going to help with this workshop? Finding connections with other writers, especially writers who identify in the LGBTQ+I community, is imperative for this workshop. They can be mentors for participants, and these guests could be a part of the writing workshop and give speeches on their experiences, participate in writing prompts and share their writing, or just be part of the open discussion. Pillars of the LGBTQI+ community will also be involved, inviting local drag queens or advocates, queer leaders, queer business owners will be very helpful for participants to make them feel like they're welcome in this environment. Exposing LGBTQ+ youth to different counseling techniques as well, like bringing in counselors who specialize in this population, specialize in that type of treatment that this population experiences, they would be great to invite into the writing workshop so that we can remove the stigma of seeking help for these issues, especially if they're coming to a fun activity like a workshop and just explaining what their work is and what they do and what they care about. And then to evaluate the success of this workshop will mostly be through the logic model of evaluation and then self-reported a self-report of how they feel about the workshop. A self-reported survey. Thank you. So the logic model is used to assess whether the program is following the plan that was created and then the relationship between the intervention and changed behavior. So are we actually seeing changed behavior because of this intervention? And the first step is to identify a quantifiable problem that can be agreed upon by everyone involved in the implementation of the program. Step 2 includes creating a list of the key program inputs needed to be successful, like supplies, community participation, things like that. Step 3 is to identify the key outputs or actions needed to reach the goal of the program, such as implementing these surveys at the beginning of the program, in the middle of the program, and at the end. And it'll most likely be a scale of 1 to 10 and asking questions based on their feelings. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, are you closer to very lonely, feelings of very loneliness, or feelings of not being so lonely? And hopefully negative feelings will dissipate over time if the workshop is proving successful. Step 4 identifies the outputs that the program will produce within the target population. So like before, those outputs include less feelings of loneliness, more feelings of community engagement, less feelings of marginalization. So just overall better mental health and feeling closer to your community and to those who can relate to you, have the same sort of struggles as you do. So that's what this workshop will provide. And then after creating this logic model, outline using the answers from the previous questions, then leaders would be able to identify indicators of effectiveness, and that is through these self-evaluations. So this workshop, I want it to grow like a weed and start in the eye of the community and just reach as many LGBTQI+ youth as we can, because there's a cry for help from this population, and they feel alone, they feel forgotten. And this workshop is a physical place. It's not just a website. It's not just an Instagram. It's a physical place they can go to, whether they want to get away from home or not, and feel like there are others who have the same struggles that they do and can still be successful. And that is going to be okay. That's another reason why I'm so excited to invite guests to these workshops, because these are people who actually had the same experiences, possibly came out when they were children, or possibly had feelings of it'll never get better, and then it did. So that's what I want this workshop to be.